setting up tax in the UK. So if you look at the screen here, this is the Manage Tax screen. There's three options on here: whether your prices include tax, whether you want to show the total tax, or and also what your default tax rate is. So the big question in the UK is obviously, are you VAT registered? So if you're VAT registered and you just want to use simple tax, then you want to select on the first box whether your prices include tax. That's obviously up to you. Depends how you're trading. Normally, merchants who trade, who sell to businesses, would typically show their prices excluding tax, and those who are selling to consumers typically including tax. But clearly, that's a decision for you to make. Show total tax if you're VAT registered. Then yes, the answer is yes to that. You definitely want to show the total tax and the default tax rate. At the moment, it's 15%. It's going to go up soon to 17.5%, and don't forget, this is where the tax rate is set. So as tax rates change, then you're going to want to change that yourself, because it's not, we don't automatically change tax rates. You would need to log on to here and modify the tax rate to the new value. So that's if you're VAT registered. And one other thing as well, if we go to the Manage Product screen, it may be that you've got more than one tax rate, and you might, for example, be selling 0 rated items. So if we just look at this product here, ABC123, on each product in the product manager, there's a tax field. You can post the tax field to the cart as well if you're not using the product manager. But so on this product here, we've just put 0 for the tax, click on save, and then this product would be 0 rated for tax, or whatever percent value you put in the tax field there. So if we go back to the tax screen again, so yeah, that's if you're VAT registered. If you're not VAT registered and you're in the UK, then essentially, if you're not VAT registered, you're not really supposed to even talk about tax at all on your website or any documentation you provide to your customers. So prices include tax, you want to say no. Show total tax, you want to say no. And the default rate is 0. So essentially, you're not even going to talk about tax, your prices don't include tax, and the default tax rate is 0. So that's if you're not VAT registered and you're in the UK. Okay, so let's just put that back to if you were VAT registered. In fact, let's have prices don't include VAT. Let's click on Save Changes there. So this is a typical setup for a company who is VAT registered. One other thing you can do, you can use advanced tax here. So again, this is something you would use if you're VAT registered. So looking at the screen here, what you've got is a list of all the countries that you're allowing to trade with, all the countries that you want to trade with, and you'll notice there's various different tax bands. By default, all products you add to the product manager go into band A, but you can specify on the products which band they're in. So again, if I go back to the product manager here, then we look at that product ABC123. If you just bring that up now, and you'll see in the options section on this product down here, there's the tax band. So at the moment, as I mentioned, it's in tax band A. If this was a 0 rated product and you were using advanced tax, you would set this to tax band B, for example, and then on the you need to save that as well. And on the advanced tax screen in the UK down here, if I just scroll down to the UK, you would make sure that tax band B is set to 0. And so what this means is your standard rated products, which is tax band A, would be charged at 15%, and that product we just set up as tax band B would be charged at 0%. And here's the thing, so you can obviously go through every single country here, and you can enter the amount of tax that you're going to charge for each country, and with each tax band. The vast majority of merchants just use one tax band, which is going to be tax band A. But if you're selling items which attract different amounts of VAT and tax, then you want to check with your accountant or with a tax expert on how much you should be charging for each country that's buying from you. So there's a couple of other options here as well. Allow customers to enter Euro VAT number to avoid paying VAT. So if customers are in a European country, then they can enter the Euro VAT number, and if they do that, then they won't then the VAT will be removed. And also, do not allow customers to avoid paying VAT if delivery is to the default country. So they wouldn't be able to get out of paying VAT if delivery is being sent to the default country that the cart is registered to. Okay, so to switch on advanced tax, you hit that button there, switch on advanced tax functionality. So that's essentially it. So there's two ways, as I mentioned, of setting up tax: the basic method and the advanced tax method.